Hello all, my name is Mary Reinhardt and I am presenting on the Weissenhof Siedlung and this is for our Art Deco and Industrial Design section of our art history class. So just a bit of background about this work. So since it is built in Germany, it has an original German title that I can't pronounce. I have noted here that Le Corbusier was one of the architects who helped design the estate. There were also 16 other architects, including Mies van der Rohe, but Corbusier was one that designed the most famous house, house number 13. So this housing estate was built for the German Work Federation exhibition in Stuttgart, Germany in 1927. And the purpose was to design a new solution and eliminate the housing shortage after the World War I in Germany. And this type of building was one that is sometimes considered one that changed the world. So the significance of this work is that during the 1920s, modernists began promoting functional architecture with geometric shapes. And it was really designed for modern city dwellers and blue-collared workers and the upper middle class. So it was affordable for most people, and it was kind of like a socialist alternative to slum housing that poor people lived in up until that point, like if you weren't of great wealth. There ended up being 63 apartments, and then there's 21 houses. So like apartments would be more lower class, and the houses would be more for like the upper middle class. So, like I had mentioned earlier, the title slide photo is actually house number 13, and that's the one that Le Corbusier helped design. So the design for this work was very industrial and actually very innovative for its time. As you can see in both of these pictures, that it's much different than what we've seen up until this point. The spaces were very light, very bright, very open, very minimal furniture, minimal cabinetry, minimal decoration. The areas between the buildings, there's a lot of landscaping, and that's to promote healthy living, which we do know like is an actual thing now, whereas then they were branching out. And also this work really incorporates the new construction movement, such as like, having the steel frames and the prefabricated parts that were used for most commercial designs. And in this aspect is really where we start to see like resimercial, where it's a commercially built building, but it's used by residents. On this slide, I wanted to focus a little bit more on the exteriors, just to show the geometric forms that were used, and these are very great examples of the industrialization of Europe at the time. In the picture on the left, we can see the clear story of windows that make the space on the previous slides that we saw, make it have that open, airy feel so that, walls made of concrete and steel doors doesn't feel as dreary and dark as it may look like it could be. We also noticed the flat roof lines, and I think that it's interesting that these are all flat because the exhibition is actually translated from German, and it is also sometimes called the flat. So that's neat. And again, I had already mentioned the concrete construction and how these are all industrial produced materials, and there's really no organic materials that we see like we have been in our past architectural periods. So on this slide, we just see another image of both the interior and the exterior. The interior image really shows the geometric shapes and how there's very minimal storage, and the storage isn't built, or it is built in to the wall. And there's also some interesting colors, which I find fascinating. It doesn't really explain why. I guess that's a little bit of the Art Deco tied into it. And then on the exterior photo, we can see that these are like, they almost kind of, they remind me of townhomes that we would see in St. Louis. Unfortunately, just a bit of history about this, in World War II, this settlement was actually destroyed or mostly destroyed. There was enough information to rebuild it, and it was rebuilt to like its original form. And so today it is a museum of the original buildings and the original design, and it is seen as a architectural milestone into new and modern art. And these are my sources if you want to go online and see any more information on this lovely work. There's a lot of information, hard to keep it under 5 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Have a great weekend.